So I've always been really bad for comparing myself to others, and this negative trait was just exacerbated during lockdown when a lot of my friends and family decided to either buy houses, get married, get engaged, or have kids without consulting me. They just made alternative WhatsApp groups, made all these plans, and I just felt like I was being left behind a bit. You know, I was still in the college drinking days, and I thought they were on the same page as me, but they're not. That's fine. And these negative thoughts were they were having a bit of an impact on every aspect of my life, with my family, with my partner, and in work. I was just kind of sick of everything, to be honest. You know, why am I fucking doing that? Why am I doing that? You know, it's a really bad way to be. And this one day back in May, when I was just really overwhelmed at work, like there was an arsehole in work just kind of pissing me off one day, I decided that he was the problem now. He's the reason why I don't have a mortgage. So I kind of exploded during a Zoom call, and I needed to calm down. And whenever I need to calm down, I need to get into water, because I feel like when I'm angry or stressed out, like my insides are like the basement of the Titanic, when the lads are just shoveling all the coal onto the fires, trying to avoid the iceberg, and my body just radiates heat. So I need to get into water, and I prefer to get into the sea. But if I'm at your house, I'll ask, can I have a bath? And sometimes I won't ask. I'll just get in. I just need to get my head underwater, and it cools me down, and it de-stresses me. So this one day I was working from home in Cork, and I'm not from Cork, I'm from Dublin though, and I decided to drive to the closest beach, which was Myrtleville. And when I got there, the waves were kind of choppy, so I said, right, I won't go for a swim, I'll just go in, I'll just dip the head, I'll go in as far as my waist, just dip the head in, it looks too dangerous to swim. There was a woman building sandcastles with her child on the beach, and I went in and I just lay down in the water, and I felt really calm, and I feel like the water can kind of take my troubles away, and I've always felt that. And then I stood up to leave, and when I stood up, my feet got stuck in the sand, and then the water just disappeared from underneath me, like. And then a big wave came over my head and just fucked me out into the ocean. And when I bobbed my head back up, my back was to the shore, so I was really disorientated, like, whoa, that wasn't meant to happen. And suddenly my feet weren't touching the floor, so I was like, okay, right, just keep swimming. And I started to swim back to shore with all my might. And then another wave came, and I went further out, and another wave came, and I went further out. And again, I was swimming directly back into shore. And what you're meant to do is kind of swim parallel to the shore. Again, comparing myself to other people who drown. I'm not drowning good enough. So I'm trying with all my might to get back. And then I see the woman and her son pack up their shovel and walk back to their car and drive away. So I'm now on the beach on my own. And I start to pray. The waves keep coming and I keep getting pulled out, and I start to pray, and I'm an atheist. And I've often thought that, is there such thing as an atheist on a sinking ship? And there is, if it's an atheist convention. But I started to pray, and I promised that I would stop worrying about these things if someone saved me. I didn't care who saved me, but if he saved me, I would forget about all these troubles and just start living my own life and not compare myself to others. And then this dog appeared, and I thought, Lassie is coming to save me. And the dog is barking at me. And this isn't the first time in my life that I've been saved by a dog. A few years before that, I came home from work and I fell asleep and I left my dog downstairs and I woke up to him on my chest barking. And there was smoke in the air and our neighbour's house was on fire and our house had filled up with smoke and he got me out of our house. Now, he could have thought that the commotion outside was just people playing with a football and he wanted to join in, but he did save me. So anyway, I'm drowning in the water and this dog starts to bark and I see his owner coming towards the dog going, "Get out of the fucking water, come on." He doesn't see me, but the dog does, and the dog is looking directly at me and he's barking like mad. And then finally the owner sees me. And I start to relax and I start to swim parallel because all I'm thinking is he can see me and if I float out to sea, he's seen me and I can stay calm and someone will find me. He'll send out for help. But I scream and the noise that comes out of me is a noise that I've never ever made before in my life. And it comes from every part of my body and it's like an orc in Lord of the Rings, like waging war. And I'm screaming for help, and he just goes, "Hello." And he's just like, "Oh, out for a swim." And I scream some more, and he finally realizes that I'm in danger. And he whips off his trousers and his boots, and he starts to run in, and I'm panicking because I'm like, I don't want him to run. He's not going to be able to save me. I don't want him to drown. So he, in fairness to him, he kind of hesitated when he went in a little bit, and he was like, I'll hold off on jumping in just yet. I'll see if she gets to the rocks," which I did. So I had come out of the current a bit, and I had moved towards the rocks, and I hit the rocks. And then I dove down, and I basically pulled myself forward while the waves were crashing in and dragged myself over the rocks. And I was wearing a wetsuit, so it kind of protected me a bit, and I was very grateful. And eventually, I crawled out and I landed at this poor man's feet. And he didn't know what to do. He was standing there in his boxers. and I landed at his feet and I just pissed myself in my wetsuit. But he's not to know. But it's just kind of, it's floating around and it's heating me up, so I'm happy. And I get out and he helps me to my car and he just says, like, you know, you go home now and you'll have a cup of tea and it'll be grand. As if my whole life hasn't been flashing before my eyes. And I didn't find God that day, but I did. A dog found me, and it's backwards is dog. The backwards of God is dog. And I did keep up with my commitment to forget about comparing myself to others, and I feel like my life has kind of changed for the better. And I thought about 3 people when I was in the water. I thought about my mum, and my dog, and my boyfriend. And my relationship with all 3 has improved. And there's lots of other amazing people in my life that I didn't think about in that moment, so I'm sorry. But it's not like you're a child on the den and they ask you who you want to say hello to, and you just say, everyone who knows me. But I am forever grateful to that misbehaved dog who wouldn't stop barking, and I won't compare myself to anyone again.